What's going on, everybody? We are live from Mindset Monday, and we're going to talk a little bit about the power of resiliency, right? Give you guys a quick example, quick little story that this just happened, okay? Like this just happened Wednesday. So, Wednesday, I was supposed to fly out, see a lot of my family, get my daughter baptized. We were going to New York. Our flight was early Thursday morning. And so, Wednesday, at about 6 o'clock, we get an alert, my wife and I. And the alert basically says they're closing Tampa Airport all day Thursday for the hurricane. Our flight was supposed to leave really early, like 5 a.m. Thursday morning. We find out 6 o'clock. So we really had limited options. Do we miss the baptism, miss the wedding, or do we, figure out a different way to go up? And we couldn't wait until Friday because if flights still weren't going out Friday, we wouldn't make it in time. So, you know what we decided to do? We took 3 kids under the age of 10, rented like the biggest truck they had, drove up, made it in time for the christening, made it in time for the wedding, got to see everybody, and then we flew down Sunday. Why did that happen? Well, because Hurricane Helene decided to go bananas. And by the way, I hope everyone's okay. I hope everyone's safe dealing with that. Talk about the power of resilience. There's a lot of people that are going to have to dig deep and really work through that. I mean, I didn't realize it until I got here, but I'm pretty sure my boat's gone. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do about that. Dave, what do you feel the power of resilience means to you?
It's that old adage, man. And I live in Rocky territory, go figure. Everybody adores a fictional character. But again, the storyline behind it, you get knocked down 9 times, you stand up 10, you keep going. And that movie, that series is a perfect example of resiliency. Another adage, think of a little kid, think of a baby, an infant trying to walk. They're going to get up, they're going to fall down. That's not going to stop them. A lot of times, us getting older, the fear of whatever, you just quit on yourselves. You don't continue to move forward. Well, when you kind of in a resilient manner, if you're going into it with kind of blind eyes and not putting any of those negative thoughts or any of that negative attention behind it, it's just, all right, I need to put one foot in front of the other and keep on pushing and keep moving forward. And, like you said about everybody down south, a couple people I know in North Carolina or East Tennessee right there, thinking of all y'all, man. And shit, man, I can't even put words behind that, man. That's resiliency.
It's pretty devastating. But listen, resilience is literally the backbone of every and any entrepreneur, because nothing in business ever goes according to plan. Nothing ever goes smooth, or very rarely. I don't want to say nothing, right? Nothing makes it seem like everything falls apart all the time. That's not how entrepreneurship works either. That's one extreme, right? But for the most part, most of the things that you're striving to achieve, most of the hard things you're trying to put in place, takes an extreme amount of resilience, because a lot of times you're not going to figure it out on the first shot or even the second shot. And hopefully by the third shot, you learned it, you figured it out. But in reality, it takes a lot of reps to get it right? Think about it like this: hiring. Okay. Hiring is never, at least for me, it's never been easy, right? I tend to believe too much. So I am not a good interviewer. It's something I'm working on, but it takes time. It doesn't mean I stop hiring at all, right? Or I just don't do it, because then my company wouldn't thrive. Okay. So you got to figure these things out along the way. And sometimes it's, there's going to be things that you either have to figure out and work through, or you have to be able to hire somebody who is a pro at it to take that off your plate. One or the other. That's how business works. And if you're not resilient, you typically give up. You don't experience the growth you want, and you still deal with a lot of the headaches.
Yeah, man, there's always, one thing I've learned, and it's crazy how you touched on interviewing, because we as being a weak suit, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes we think we got to be the expert in every single thing, and that was like kind of after I read like how to, buy back your time. And I've talked about it a million times. Ever since I've read that book, it's changed my lens on everything. It kind of puts a resiliency in there. It's okay, I don't have to be the answer for everything. Okay, like if there is somebody has a skill set in a certain position, then put them in there. Like right now, for example, even with all the people we have, and we're trying to figure out our ad space. It's hard, man. It's competitive. Yeah. It really is, man. And I see why people quit. You look at other people's work previously, what they've did, why they're not in there. They didn't have the resiliency or the grit to get through it. It's not easy, man. And I think everything seems easy, or people think it's easy on the surface. Hey, I'm going to do this. This is going to come in and then we're going to crush it. Okay. If it wasn't, how comes not everybody's doing it again? You know what I mean? It's hard, man. It's supposed to be hard. And I think people forget that. Resilience. Here's the definition, right? It means being able to cope with tough events. When something bad happens, you still feel anger, grief, and pain, but you're able to keep going both physically and psychologically.
I like it.
Yeah. Of all places, that's from the Mayo Clinic.
Well, guys, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I think it also has to do with not just being resilient, but having that mindset that you're going to accomplish it no matter what, right? Like if you frame things out in that light prior to starting and give yourself permission to mess it up a couple times, that's the mindset I have behind everything. Hey, I don't know this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out one way or the other. And the sooner I figure it out, the quicker we'll be on to, the next goal. But sometimes you do get stuck on it. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes it might not be a skill that you have, and you either have to learn the skill or hire the skill, right? But I would tell people, try to learn the skill first, because if you don't know at least a good base level about what you're trying to accomplish and how it needs to be done, hiring for it is going to be very, very hard, because you're just not going to know the questions to ask. You're not going to know, the right person you're looking for. So before I ever attempt to hire somebody for a skill that I may not have, I do work on at least learning a good baseline of it. So I can have a higher likelihood of picking out the person that's going to get it done. Does that make sense? Don't just say, hey, I don't know how to market. Let me hire this marketing agency. Because think about that. They're either going to do the job or they're not. You're still going to spend a good amount of money. There has to be some type of vetting process,
Yeah, vetting process. And I also think an expectation from yourself too. So I think, giving them deadlines, a lot of times when somebody gets outsourced, it's, hey, they want to play by their rules. I look at it as, look, you're kind of a paid position for me on my team. And if you're not going to produce, like, look, okay, here's what I'm looking for. Can you do it? Right. Okay. Well, here's a deadline. Here's a realistic deadline, 90 days, 120 days to see something. Right. And if you can't perform, then we got to tie this. Is that okay? Or is that something we agree on? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. If you get pushback on that, they're probably not the right person. If you get somebody that you vetted them out and all that good stuff, you put a deadline on and they agree to it, chances are that's pretty good. They kind of are what's a good way to put it? They kind of have faith in themselves to get the job done. As opposed to, I'm not comfortable doing that. Well, are you who you say you are then? Why are you not comfortable? You can't put your money where your mouth is. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I hear you. There's a lot. If we were going to go into marketing or just one thing, it'd be a whole another show. But guys, thanks for tuning in for Mindset Monday. Kick some ass this week. Hope you guys are crushing it. I hope everyone that was near that hurricane is okay and safe. Because that's absolutely crazy. All right, Dave, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later, brother.
Got it, brother. Be great, y'all. God bless you all too, man.